Hi, it's Kelly, and today I want to introduce you to a tool that I use to get the most out of my time. Now, back when I was in my mid 20s and I bought my first house, I had a lot of energy. And despite working full time, I would come home and I'd immediately get stuck into all these great renovation projects. And it really worked out for me. But I look back at that time now that I'm in my 40s and I think, where did all that energy come from? I didn't drink a lot of soda. I didn't do cocaine. What was happening? And I was just younger and had more energy. So now that I have this new house and I have a lot of projects that I want to do in it, I find myself fighting kind of that trifecta of complications. So in our family, we would say sometimes you've got lots of time, but not the money. And when you have the money, you don't have the time. And then there's this third variable of energy that you could have the money and you could have the time, and then you are exhausted. So, how do you keep moving forward on projects, whether that's for your house or your business or relationship or anything that you want? I use the future me list. And this is just a simple list that I put into a journal of all the things that I want to do in the future. Now, that allows you to be a bit more of a dreamer because you're not necessarily committing to doing all this right now, but a future version of you will get it done. And that could also mean that you don't have to personally do it. It could be tasks that you're going to outsource or hire someone to come in and fix for you. But the way that I've been doing this in January, I think is relevant for a lot of us. In January, everyone's talking about organizing, decluttering, getting things neat and tidy and calm for the new year. And as you're working on that, if that's a project of yours, you might find a lot of unfinished programs, projects, or things that you thought you'd done or you'd forgotten you wanted to do. How do we get those done? Well, I do them with the future me list. So I'll give you an example. I have a half bath that I had to basically tear down to the bare walls and am now building back up. So some things have already been completed in this bathroom, such as all the underfloor plumbing has been completed. New toilet has been installed. The walls have been painted. The electrical has been updated. But now I need to build the countertop and install the new sink and faucet. So instead of just having on my mental to-do list, finish the half bath, I put into kind of a little mini project plan on my future me list what I need to do to finish the half bath. And it looks a little bit like, paint and install the beadboard, paint and install the trim. I've already designed and cut everything out for her, but I need to assemble the countertop and stain it. And then I can get the plumber to come out and do the plumbing that we need to get the faucet and the sink installed. I already own the faucet and the sink, so that makes it a little bit easier. And then there's always things that pop up, right? Like I have a shelf I want to put up. That goes on the future me list. And here's the benefit. It's not just getting it all out of your head. And if you want to learn more about that idea of like just getting things out of your mental reminder list, check out Getting Things Done by David Allen. There are new updated versions of it. I first read it as a teenager when they talked about like your Palm Pilot and your rotary phone. But their newer versions take into account our digital world and how important it is to get things out of our head so that we can focus on finding solutions, not trying to remember all the things that need to get done. But the benefit of the future me list is, of course, it's out of your head, it's on paper. And when you have time, you have the money, and you have the energy, you can look at that list and decide what fits into your day. So, say it's the end of the day, it is, 10 o'clock, and I want to get something on my to-do list done. I'm probably not going to get out the paint and try to paint a small interior room with no window at 10 o'clock at night. But maybe I can measure and install the brackets for the shelf. Or maybe I should just move on to a different room because there's nothing small enough that I can do in this space of time. But if I look ahead, I have a weekend. Ooh, what could I do over the weekend? What supplies do I need? What time should I set aside? This helps us, and by us I mean me, in the planning process for anything that you're doing. Now, I hope you can kind of visualize like a bathroom, and this is a very small half bath, like think airport, airplane bathroom size. But you can do this for anything that you're working on. And to me, it really helps to break projects down so the project isn't like renovate the house or start a business or retire someday or go on a trip. It really helps start to break things down. And it doesn't have to be physical things. Sometimes the energy that we're expending on projects is a mental or emotional load. Let's say that your project is that you're going to go through that old hard drive of family photos. You're going to get rid of the duplicates, you're going to label everything, and you're going to make copies for your parents for Christmas. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like a big physical task, right? You're sitting in front of a computer and scrolling through lots of photos. But you're going to maybe come across people who have passed in your family or memories that make you very happy or very sad. And so if you can take that project and break it down into manageable chunks or things that you at least understand what need to be done, then you can start to say, I can do that on Sunday. Or I have had such a tough day at work. I don't have the emotional capacity for that right now. I'd rather go paint the bathroom. So for me, the future me list has projects across many rooms of my house, many digital programs or tasks that I want to accomplish, and as well as some research things. There doesn't always have to be a physical outcome like a file organized or a room painted. It can also be things like, research new cars or look at replacing and getting better home insurance. It could be things like look at flights for this upcoming trip. There are lots of things that can go on the future me list that do not need to have a tangible physical outcome in order to be successful. And then the last thing I'll mention for this is that if you write this list and then you never look at it again, you still got some benefit of clearing your mind. You might come across it in a year and be like, oh, I did some of that stuff. Yeah, I eventually got an oil change in the car. I guess I did clean out the fridge at some point. But if you really want to take action and you want to be deliberate about what you're doing day to day, then you're going to reference your future me list when you're making your weekly to-do list or you're figuring out what you're going to do over the weekend. Because these are apparently things that have been on your mind or that you want to see done. And to me, there's two ways to get something off the future me list. The first is to do it, is to go accomplish that thing and check it off with a sense of accomplishment and say, I did that. Even if it means I hired someone to do that, I did it. But the second way to get something off your future me list is to decide this is no longer a priority and I'm removing it from my list. That doesn't mean you can't change your mind again and do it in the future, but taking it off the list is also a decision that tells you what your priorities are and what they are not. So let me know in a comment if you're going to start a future me list and how you're going to get things out of your mind, off of your mental checklist, and onto a physical sheet of paper or digital if you want to, so that you have a reference point for the things that you want to do and accomplish, and you can be more deliberate with your day.